In a meta-analysis of studies on loneliness, researchers Julian Holt-lunst, Timothy B. Smith, and J. Bradley Layton found the following. Living with air pollution increases your odds of dying early by 5%. Living with obesity, 20%. Excessive drinking, 30%. And living with loneliness? It increases our odds of dying early by 45%. Loneliness is not benign. It's something that we need to talk about and we need to remedy. Sit back and let's learn about this together. Hi, welcome back. John Casipio and William Patrick are quoted in Brene Brown's book, Atlas of the Heart, which is the book that we're still on, and we're discussing loneliness today. They define loneliness as perceived social isolation. It's an experience when we are disconnected from other people, when we're pushed out of a group, or when we're not included in a group, when we're lacking true belonging. Remember, belonging is about being who I am, who I really am, in a social situation. So you know me and I'm known by you, so that I know that I am accepted as I am. I feel connected in that way. And loneliness is at the heart the absence of meaningful social interaction and social connection. And I can't have meaningful social connection, again, remember, if I don't feel like I belong. We can feel this loneliness and that lack of social connection in our relationships with our significant other. Maybe we've been together for a long or a short period of time and we just don't feel like we are seen and heard and valued, and we feel isolated as a result, and so we feel very lonely in that situation. I'm not connecting with you like I'm supposed to, so I feel very lonely. We can feel that in our friendships. Friendships go through cycles, but maybe we're not connecting as much as we used to because we are busy with our businesses, or we're busy with our lives, or we're seeing them do fun things on social media with other people, and we feel left out and we end up feeling lonely. Even at family gatherings, we can feel this sense of social isolation because our perception is that we are on the outskirts. Remember, loneliness is about perceived social isolation. So maybe other people would say, why are you feeling lonely? We all love you here. But if we're not feeling that, then the perception is that I'm not belonging, that I am not connected here, and I end up feeling very isolated and alone. It can happen in community, in our communities, in our workplace, in groups on social media, in other groups. And remember, loneliness is not the same as being alone. Being alone is actually beneficial for us at times. We can do a reset. Some of us like more alone time than other people, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to be lonely when I'm alone. It makes me think of that song, I think the bed feels warmer sleeping here alone. I dream in color and do the things I want. You think you got the best of me, you think you had the last laugh. Everything good in me is dead and gone. She's talking about feeling more lonely when he's there because of the lack of connection. I think it's a Carrie Underwood song, if I'm not mistaken. You can tell me if I'm wrong down in the comments. and you're welcome. I didn't sing it for you. Though being alone can be good for us, research does show that our hard wiring is for interdependence, not independence. Casipio had done some research on this, and they found meaningful connections were needed for us. That sense of interdependence was needed for us just as much as biological things are needed. So we're biologically hardwired to get hungry when our blood sugar is low. And so we reach out for food, so that need is met as an indicator for us that we need something. When we're thirsty, we get thirsty when we're getting dehydrated. Now be careful, because when we're really dehydrated, we stop being thirsty as much. But drink, drink lots of water, drink plenty of fluids. to keep yourself hydrated. But when we're thirsty, if we're not nervous, it means that that we are becoming dehydrated. Well, loneliness is actually an indicator for our need for social connection. And denial of this loneliness, denial of the need for correction, causes additional pain and disconnect. You know, when we try to deny our loneliness, it's usually about shame. You know, I'm feeling shame because what's wrong with me? There must be something wrong with me because people don't want to connect with me. I perceive that people don't want to connect with me. I feel ashamed of that, so I'm going to isolate. I'm not really lonely. I like to be alone, so I pull myself back. It's a real place of self-preservation that people get into when they do this because they want to avoid the pain. We do so many things to avoid pain. We numb, we isolate, we disconnect. But what happens when we do this, when we feel isolated and we disconnect and we feel lonely and we feel shame and we attempt to override that, our empathy level actually starts to decline. We become more defensive because I have to protect myself. I'm not looking at how you're feeling because I'm so absorbed in how I'm feeling. So our empathy goes down, my defensiveness goes up. I numb myself with other behaviors and activity that aren't beneficial to me. And actually it impacts my sleep as well. Unchecked loneliness fuels continued loneliness, and it increases our level of fear to reach out. So we need to identify, we need to acknowledge, first of all, that we are lonely. And then we need to reach out for ways to meet the needs for connection so that we don't feel as alone. You know, seek help. If you're in an anxiety shame spiral, it might be beneficial to even start your work with a mental health professional, to reach out and say, listen, I'm having real difficulties here. I'm in this shame spiral. I feel like people don't like me and that there's something inherently wrong with me because I'm so lonely all the time. So seek help. Reach out to a mental health professional. Reach out to a trusted friend. Start with just one trusted friend. One connection can reduce our loneliness level. Reach out to them, give them a call. Hey, can I grab a coffee with you at some point this week? I'm feeling isolated and frankly, I'm feeling lonely. And so I'm wondering if we can just get together and just tell me what's going on with your life. I just want to be connected with somebody. Join a club. Find a club out in your community where people are doing something that you enjoy doing, and engage with other people, connect with other people. It's service is a wonderful way. If you join a service club that's helping individuals to meet the need for connection because you're connecting with another individual and meeting their need, which reduces your sense of loneliness because it's increasing your sense of connection and interdependence. Discuss with your significant other if you're feeling lonely within the relationship, if you're feeling like there's some type of disconnect that's going on. Maybe ask them to sit down and view this video with you and then discuss that after. Have you ever experienced being lonely in our relationship, in our home, in our bed? Have you ever felt disconnected and lonely, like there was just this space between us? If we go out to dinner with our significant other, we might be together, we're on a date night, but if one person is like this the whole time you're out for a date, do you feel connected to them? You don't. They're disconnected from you and connected to their phone. If you are out and you're wanting connection with other people, but you're in your phone, I encourage you, put it down, right? And I can't leave out discussing even social media when we're talking about loneliness. Sometimes we feel lonely and we turn to social media to feel more connected, but it makes us feel more left out and more isolated because we're seeing all of the wonderful things that other people are doing and how connected they are to one another. We're seeing the highlight reel, remember, of their lives. This isn't reality. This isn't their life all the time. I bet sometimes some of those people feel lonely, isolated, and disconnected as well. Don't sit on there watching it, asking why wasn't I included, feeling left out, feeling that shame spiral, which causes us to be more isolated. Remember, we need to actually reach out when we have that indicator light that comes on that says, I am lonely. I can meet my need for connection by reaching out to the people I love. And if I don't have a wide enough base, if everybody's busy and they're unable to connect, then I need to widen my base and find more people to connect to. Notice it, journal it out, see the need, and then look for healthy ways to meet the need. Your loneliness is an indicator that something needs to change. You need to have some connection in your life. I hope that you learned something today. I hope you learned that loneliness is dangerous. Reach out for real connection in your world today, and then tell me how you did it. I'd love to hear from you. You can put it in the comments or shoot me a message at jmullins4orangetherapy@gmail.com. That's jmullins, the number 4, orangetherapy@gmail.com. As always, I'm just so grateful that you joined me here today. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, share away so that other people can learn something too. And I hope that you join me back here again next time at Orange Therapy on YouTube, where you are always welcome here, exactly as you are.